Hi, this is Amrit Sahu, and my teammates are Avni Verma, Ajit Thomas, and Swati Pavakar, and we are group number 5. Our application is, let me just open it for you. Our application is the Saferoutes application. So, this application helps the user find the safest route back home. This app predicts the destination for the user and prompts him with a safe route from his current location back to the predicted destination. And this makes use of various data such as the crime API and the location history and the weather API with the sunset and sunrise. So let's start the application and have a look. So on the starting screen we are prompted with a login prompt. So this is task number 1, the authentication layer, which is done by Amrit Sahu. So the task 1 consists of a backend and a front end Android authentication layer. So the Android layer is done by OAuth, Google OAuth API, and it is connected to our own backend server by we pass the token to the backend. So and with each further requests, this token is again passed back to our backend, and this is stored and verified. So this is the authentication layer, and the task number 2, let's look at the video. So once we allow the permission, now we'll walk through the app a bit. So we enter location and the destination location. So our app works on SF government data, and we use this data set because it's a pretty vast data set as compared to something like Tempe or Arizona. So once we input the location, source and destination location, uh, the backend calculates a safe route considering the various factors. And one we can see this route is plotted here, which is the from and to location, and this also displays the crime hotspots. uh, so this let me talk about the tasks involved here. Now the second task is route fetching. So route fetching is done by Google Maps, done by Amrit Sahu using the Google Maps API. And as you can see the route which is plotted here, it was fetched from the backend, return a query, and this returns response in JSON, and this query consists of reverse geocoding the input locations back to coordinates and passing it to Google Maps API. And now we'll see uh, uh, back in our application. We'll talk about the third task, which is the backend server done by Amrit Sahu as well. And we'll just go through the the third task is backend server, and we'll show it via parts of it via Postman. And so the backend server, the database, and the REST API is completely written in Python, and the database is in SQLite. This task consists of creating classes and the database schema and tables and everything that is involved with serving the REST API from the backend. This is task number 3 done by Amrit Sahu. And as you can see, the previous task, that was task 2, is shown here in Postman, and this returns us with the route data. And as you can see below, a certain score is also calculated. So this is part of task 4, crime data, which is done by Avni Verma. So the crime data is obtained from SF government API, which I talked about before. And after doing that data returns the location within a particular radius consisting of crimes, and we return the score along with each route returned by the Google Maps API. So this is task 4, which is done by Avni Verma. And now we move on to task 5. And these tasks are part of the map that we saw before. So task 5 is done by Ajo Thomas, which consists of location tracking. So the current location is periodically captured by the application and serves as the default source for trip suggestions. And task 6, also done by Ajo Thomas, consists of the user manually specifying the location input. So task 6 is location input, and he can specify the destination manually. Task 7, done by Ajo Thomas, is based on time data, and this involves fetching the current sunrise and sunset from the weather API, and this is later used for predictions. Task 7 is location or time history, and the user location and history is basically tracked at multiple points and is stored in a SQL database for future use. Task 9, also done by Ajo Thomas, involves predicting upcoming routes involving logic based on the basically based on all the previous data that we talked about: the current time, the sunset, sunrise, and the current location and time history. So that is also a part of task 9. Now we go back so we talk about task 10, that is plotting. As you saw previously in the map, the traffic along the route is live traffic is predicted is along the predicted route is retrieved using the Google Maps API. So task 10 is done by Swati Prabhakar, and even mapping the final route, task 11 is also done by Swati Prabhakar. Task 12, that we saw on the map before, of the crime markers, custom markers for crime, the crime hotspots, basically is also done by Swati Prabhakar. And task 13, which is the indicator for traffic conditions, the color lines that we saw in the map, is also done by Swati Prabhakar. Now we just have a look at the Postman APIs for these are basically part of authentication, where you send the email and the unique ID, and it returns back the token which you store at the Android app layer, and again send it back with further requests. So, and even the push token is part of the authentication. And now we look at task 14, that is starred locations and REST API. Task 14 is done by Amrit Sahu, and this consists of the get and post requests for these are basically the backend tasks for storing and retrieving starred locations feature, which we will see in the UI in a bit. So this was task 14 done by Amrit Sahu, and yeah. So as you can see, on giving a post request, it returns the response success. So this is all part of backend, right? Yeah. And now we go back to the app, and here we open alert a friend, which is task 15 done by Avni Verma. And so basically this app allows the user to send an alert message to any selected contact with the current location in case of any emergency. So this is task 15, done by Avni Verma. And now we see star location, which is task 16 done by Avni Verma. So this basically loads the map and allows the user to select a location on the map which will be starred as his favorite location. Yes, and so I think once you star a particular location, you can view it from the list of starred locations, and on clicking the starred location, you go back to the main activity, input activity of our app, where the destination is populated with the start location. This is this is task 16 done by Avni Verma. And now we look at the nearby traffic incidents, which is task 17, which is done by Avni Verma. And this involves querying the MapQuest API with the current location and the bounding box, and this collects nearby traffic incidents. And yeah, so this is task 17 done by Avni Verma. Next we look at the profile data. This task 18, which is done by Amrit Sahu, which fetches the username, email, and other information, display the picture, and we can see a share button. So the social sharing feature is part of the same task 18 done by Amrit Sahu. And yeah, now we look at two tasks. Task 19, which is done by Avni Verma, and this involves the push notification service on the Android layer. And task 20, which involves displaying the push notification, which is done by Swati Prabhakar. So 19 consists of creating the GCM server, the token registration, and yeah, updating the token module and basically keeping it in sync. And so this is task 19. And 20, as we saw, it opens back the app, so this with the location. So this is task 20 done by Swati Prabhakar. And so yeah, basically that's a wrap on our app, and hope you like it.